It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
Back, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you this segment of the Conduit News Radio is brought to you by the Patriots of Act 746. They are on a mission to educate the people of Arkansas about your Second Amendment constitutional rights here in Arkansas, as well as Act 746 specifically. Owning or carrying a weapon, rather, has been decriminalized, and that is because of Act 746. And so find out more. Look them up on Facebook. They're a 12,000-plus strong group on Facebook. It's the Patriots of Act 746. And joining us now to talk more about this, we have once again Mr. Dan Borum is up with us this morning. Dan, welcome, sir.
Good morning, Paul. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing well. What about you? What's new in your world?
Oh, my. Lots of things are new in my world. It's been a very busy world here lately. Sometimes, hey, Paul, you ever feel like you're beating your head against the wall?
Yes. Quite. I mean, yeah. Like every day? Yeah, absolutely.
I think most people who do fight for the good and the right and our constitutional values do feel like they're beating their head against the wall many days, but we can't quit. We can't throw the towel in. We got to keep fighting, brother. And before you introduced me, you was talking about the Patriots of Act 746, and I'll just reiterate again from several times back when I was on your show that this is one of the greatest groups that I have ever joined. Back when I first joined, I didn't know very much about our gun laws in Arkansas. I just, I drank the Kool-Aid and I just believed the lie. And these people educated me, and what they did, they whetted an appetite for me to start researching for myself and to educate myself through good resources. And I've come so far because of that. I've got a long ways to go and learning more. And your program, great men and women in the Patriots of Act 746 that debate with one another, iron sharpens iron. And, man, it is unlimited of what you can learn through good groups such as this. So I encourage people out there who are listening to, if you've never looked up Patriots of Act 746, I encourage you to do so.
Yeah, no doubt. And, the people there are great. And, I mean, one of the reasons that this, relationship exists, I mean, not only am I a huge, believer in the Second Amendment as a human right,
right.
I also know that these are engaged citizens, and I want them to also, stick around this program and listen to, our tax policy. What is the state of Arkansas, in terms of, are we growing government or are we shrinking government? Because I know that having a limited government is important to most believers in, the Second Amendment and Act 746, and it's actually really, I believe it's worked out very well in terms of getting the information and really just getting like-minded people together to organize, in an effort to have a government that reflects the will of the people. And right now, we don't have that as much as we should,
No, we do. We absolutely do not. It's very aggravating to me that when you look at the Republican platform, one of the number one things in the Republican platform is limited government, letting the people rule themselves. That's what the Constitution, that's why the Constitution was written the way that it was. It wasn't to limit the people, it was to limit the government. And so the Republican platform is limited government. And yet we see this government growing. And I get very aggravated from a local level to the state level because so many who are called Republican, they choose party over principle rather than looking at the principle over party. And I believe in principle. If you call yourself a Republican, yet you do not stand on that true Republican platform of limited government, lower taxes, then I'm not going to choose you because you have your name as a Republican. I'm going to choose the principle. And yet that makes many so-called Republicans angry. I don't understand that, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure either. You know, I kind of wonder if if there's an active deception. Do they really just want the power, and that, you know, they campaign on popular ideas, and then they get in there and they don't want to implement those ideas, or they come back with excuses as to why it can't be done, or you just don't know the way things work in the Senate or the way things work in Little Rock, and it's really, really frustrating. There is a disconnect from reality down there, for sure.
And that's it. That's it. There's a disconnect. And that disconnect is between the representatives, the senators, and between them and the people. And while I'll put, you know, I can understand, you get down there, you get in the Marble Palace, and you're surrounded by your peers that are doing the same thing, and then you have the outside world that sometimes you can have a disconnect very easily. And the reason I know this is when I was in seminary for 5 years, I went to the Missionary Baptist Seminary in Little Rock over on Stagecoach Road. And it was a very good school, but I was around preachers day in and day out, sitting in a classroom with them. And I found myself having a disconnect with the outside world, with the people who needed to hear the gospel, the people that needed for me to serve them. And when I realized that, I repented, and I got back to what I was supposed to be. And I think there's that same scenario in Little Rock, that there's a disconnect. They forgot who they're serving, and then we the people need to stand up and quit being so apathetic.
Yeah. And
we need to make sure that they understand that they serve us.
Wow.
And that's what we have to do.
That is a really profound analogy about you going to seminary and being around everybody. You get in that bubble, and then you kind of get disconnected. That is a really, really good analogy, Dan. And I also want to make an observation. Yes, it is an election year, and yes, Governor Hutchinson has a primary, but he did go ahead and sign that pharmacy bill in the special session. You know, the pharmacists were being, he did do that. And I think there's a reason. I think one of the reasons is that the pharmacists were so organized. I mean, and they showed up down there, and they were a force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what it takes.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
If you don't show up, if you do not show up and show the power, look, our power as the people are in numbers. You go down there on a very hot issue, and there's 5 of you that show up. You think they're going to take you serious? Absolutely not. But there is great power in numbers, and it wakes them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the governor knows. The governor knows that there is a growing number in the state of Arkansas that is falling in and supporting Jan Morgan, because just like the presidential election, across the nation, the people were sick and tired of the same old status quo from politicians. Therefore, that is why Donald Trump got elected. And I want to tell you something. There is a great big chance that will be the reason that Jan Morgan gets elected. And not only that, she's a very intelligent woman, and she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
She's not just gunned. She's much, much deeper. And people need to listen to her. In fact, on March 30th in Alma, Arkansas, at Warren's Rec Room, March 30th, that's a Friday night at 7 o'clock. We are going to have there's a Jan Morgan rally there. She's going to be there. And she's going to come into town early. At 4 o'clock, she's going to be at the big A to Z sporting goods store, just meeting people and doing a Facebook Live. And it's going to be a really fun day. I'm really looking forward to it. And also, on that evening, before Jan comes on stage, I'm going to to allow all of the local candidates, even from JPs, whatever they're running for locally, want to allow them to come across the stage and just introduce themselves and say what they're running for.
Wow.
And so I encourage any candidates to come out to this. And then hopefully Brian King and Senator Brian King and Representative Bob Ballinger will be able to come out. I'm going to give them just about 5 minutes to speak before Jan comes on. And then probably around the third week of April, if I can get the details worked out and I can make both parties happy, what we are going to have is a debate between Brian King and Bob Ballinger. They have already agreed to the debate. What I'm trying to do is work out the details, and that's where I'm beating my head against the wall sometimes because that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, no, don't give up. Just so.
Oh no,
that's
I'm not
good
gonna
though.
give up.
Yeah, that's good. So that sounds like a great event. That sounds like a great night. A Jan Morgan event there in Alma. What's the date and time again?
Jan Morgan's going to be in town on Friday, March 30th. That's not this Friday, but the Friday after.
Okay.
And that's at Warren's Rec Room. It's a great venue. And at 4 o'clock, they're going to come into town early. At 4 o'clock, she's going to be at the big A to Z Sporting Goods store, which is just north of Alma. And she wants to meet a lot of people. So I encourage all of our local folks, and if you're in town, to come by A to Z Sporting Goods. This is where you're going to be able to just walk up to Jan and just say hello, get a picture with her, whatever it is. She's going to make time for you.
Yeah, that's great.
And then probably, I haven't set the date yet for the debate between Senator King and Representative Ballinger, but Senator King is the incumbent and Bob Ballinger is the challenger for Senate District 5. And they have agreed to the debate. And so I'm working out the details, and as soon as I get the details worked out, I'll be posting the dates on Facebook.
Wow. Dan, it's really great that you're involved in all this. I mean, we need, I just want to say, we need like 1,000 more Dan Borums out there in the world who are getting their hands dirty,
And once again, I give all credit back to, first and foremost, to my great Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, that without him, I don't know how I could get up and face what we're facing in this world.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so I give thanks to God daily for giving me strength to fight the good fight, spiritually, and here what we're dealing with in politics.
Yep.
And also, I give credit to the Patriots of Act 746, some great men and women who took me under their wing and started educating me.
So let me back up just a little bit, because when we talk about how there is a disconnect down in Little Rock,
yes, sir.
I'm wondering, it is about getting the information to the people and getting it to the politicians, really. Getting them, breaking through and getting them at least a different point of view, and not the monolithic point of view that they hear from the top and from the lobbyists in the business interest. Now, and I think this is one of the reasons why the governor came out and attacked Conduit News last week. I think it's because we are now penetrating, we are now broadcasting, and we are penetrating and giving them some support, because I think there are guys down there that are conservatives and they just need support.
That they do need that support. They need that encouragement. They need to know that there are people out there who are lifting them up and getting up and bearing up under the load that they are bearing, helping them bear that load. Folks, we have got to do it. We have no choice. We can continue to stick our head in the sand and think, you know what, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to tell you what, you're going to reap what you sow. You want to sow apathy, you're going to reap it, brother. You're going to reap it. I'm telling you, friends, you better get out there and get involved. You better have some passion about it. You better have a little grit in your craw about it. Get involved, or else you're going to reap the consequences.
Dan Borum with Patriots of Act 746. Thanks so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Hey, Paul, thank you so much for having me, and you guys have a great, great day.
Okay, you too, sir. Folks, it's Patriots of Act 746. You just search Patriots of Act 746 on Facebook. It's a closed group, but it's massive. Ask to be a member if you want more information about your Second Amendment rights here in Arkansas and the concept of true constitutional carry. Arkansas is a constitutional carry state, and you'll find a lot of information about that, whether it's open carry, concealed carry, and that sort of thing. And I think they are winning on this issue. They are winning the public's trust and the public debate on it. They still have a $1,000 reward if you can point to a place in the Arkansas law where you have to have a permission slip from the government to carry a weapon. We're going to go to break. Back in just a moment.